Do not ever waste your money and time with Elgato. And don't worry, I will tell you why. I'll tell you my fun adventures of trying to get a PlayStation 3 gameplay on OBS. So let's start from the beginning. Let's see, I started streaming a couple weeks ago. I still am sick, so this isn't helping, but I started streaming a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to stream my favorite games of all time, Sly Cooper, which is only on the PlayStation 3, if you want high definition gameplay, that is. So, the only Elgato that works on a PlayStation 3 is the Elgato HD Game Capture, not the HD60, not the HD60S, not the 4K 60 fucking stupid shit. Only the Game Capture HD. Why is this, you may ask? Because of a little thing called HDCP, which stands for High Definition Copyright Protection, which Elgato, in order to not get sued, decided to not record any console that has HDCP activated. Now, if you're a 360 or a PS4 or an Xbox One, it's not a problem. Not a problem. Just go to settings and turn that shit off. Just turn that shit off. PlayStation 3 doesn't give a shit about your feelings. The only way to override the PlayStation 3, well, actually there's two separate ways, but the main way to override the PS3 is to have a different plugin, which I don't even know what it's called, that plugs into the Elgato, and then you have an HDMI that comes out and plugs into your display, and it captures it through that cable. The HD game capture, if you want 60 FPS, can only capture in 720p, which is not a problem. I understand. It was one of their first capture cards ever released. It's fine. That would be fine if it worked. One bad thing about the HD game captures is that the USB that you use to plug it in likes to break a lot. My first ever Elgato HD capture, the one that I started my YouTube channel with, the USB came desoldered from the motherboard from unplugging it and plugging it back in all the time. And of course I had to buy another one, which was $120 out of my fucking own pocket. But, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do, which would be fine if it worked. Now here's the thing, if you want to record PS3 game footage, sure, go ahead and plug it all in, make sure it's in a USB 3.0, and you should have no problems. Just open up the game capture software and just record. Which would be fine if I was just trying to record. I want to stream, so in order to do that, I have to get Elgato to work through OBS. Which you should think, oh, no problem. Just put in a video game capture and select the HD game capture and just, you know, sync everything up and you'll be ready to go. That would be fine if it worked. Now you see, for some ungodly fucking known reason, the other day I was trying to stream Sly, and my face cam is linked to my computer through Elgato. It's in an HD cam link, which I've had plenty of issues with before. So far, it hasn't been fucking with me. For some ungodly known reason, if I open up the game capture software, it works fine. Works like a dream. The moment I open it through OBS, all I get is a message that says, "1 moment, please." And it stays that way for all of eternity. Why? I don't know. My computer is strong enough to handle an Elgato game capture, because every time I go on forums to look up any way to fix this, it's like, oh, your PC may not be powerful enough, you might want to turn down some settings. Motherfucker, I have a 3060 Ti and a Ryzen 9 3900X with 32 gigs of RAM. My computer can fucking run it. So I don't know what the fuck Elgato's problem is. So just a little bit ago, before filming the video that you're watching now, I thought I'd sit down and commend the time to get it working, which I opened up the Elgato capture software, and I was getting nothing. It just sat there at initializing. So I'm like, what the fuck? I made sure all the plugins were plugged in. They were plugged in. I'm like, all right, you know what? I'll close out Elgato and I'll go to OBS. I open up OBS. This device is in use by another application. So I'm like, okay, maybe it didn't close properly. So I'll go into Task Manager and close out Elgato. End task. This task cannot be done. End task. This task cannot be done. Okay, I'll just restart my computer. Fuck it. Restarted it, got everything back up, initializing. Yet again. At this point, I was fucking furious. And it just kept saying initializing. I turned my PS3 on and off. I tried closing the software and opening it. Oh, by the way, if you're using the HD capture software, do not close it. Because if you try to open it, it'll say that this is already running. And if you try to go into Task Manager to end the task to open it back up, it will not let you. I was like, you know what? Maybe it just needs unplugged and replugged back in. My cam link has to do that sometimes. So unplug it. Blue screen of death. Blue screen. My computer has never blue screened before. So at this point, I'm fucking furious. So I plug everything back in. I get it all back up and fucking running. I open up OBS and the PS3 comes up. The home screen of the PS3 comes up on OBS. It's a fucking miracle. It's a fucking miracle. I'm like, oh yes, thank God. Please let my face cam work. I turn on my face cam. It works. Everything's working. Then I realized something. It's only in 5 FPS. So I'm like, maybe I gotta configure it. I go to configure. It's on 720p 60. But the playback in OBS, 5 FPS. My face cam, 60 FPS. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. I was fucking around with settings for 30 fucking minutes. Nothing changed. So I turned everything off. OBS, of course, not responding. So I closed it out with Task Manager. And my computer crashed again. If you want to just record a PlayStation 3, you're shit out of fucking luck. That's all I'm telling you. Do not waste your money on Elgato products. Do not waste your money. I would understand if I only had problems with the HD capture because that's the first capture card that they came out with. That's fine. They were working out some bugs and kinks. I would be even more fine with it if there was a secondary option to record a PlayStation 3 at 720p 60. There isn't. And I would be okay if the cam link worked perfectly fine because it's one of their newer things, but it doesn't. If you do end up getting an Elgato and you're having any issues, first, make sure your computer's powerful enough. My computer is. Make sure that whatever you're trying to record is fully plugged in, fully operational, and all the settings on the system and or camera that you were trying to record are all satisfactory to Elgato's fucking picky ass attitude. And then make sure all of your cables are fast enough, meaning if you have a USB 2.0 plugged into a fucking HD 60, it ain't gonna work. Make sure it's a USB 3.0. Check the speeds of every cable that you use, and the fastest one, plug that sumbitch into that. Make sure that your HDMIs are at least 1080p 60 compatible. Check the speeds of them. If they're not good enough, go out to the fucking dollar store and buy you some. Not really, because they're probably only like 480i, but you know what I mean. Make sure all your cables are fast enough. And make sure whatever port that your Elgato is plugged into on your computer is a USB 3.0 and or Thunderbolt. Or else you're going to get shitty frame rates, or better yet, it just won't even work at all. Do not waste your money on Elgato products. That includes the lights, the Stream Deck, the fucking green screen that costs way more than my fucking mortgage. Just don't buy them. And the best part is, even if I continue to try to get a PS3 to work on OBS, and if I succeed and my Elgato breaks, they discontinued that Elgato. So they're just becoming increasingly rare. So thank you all for watching my little rant on why I think Elgato fucking sucks. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next one.